obviously, it was a very full day of testing on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, which included the man who joins us, Mick Schumacher, his first time in NTT INDYCAR Series machinery testing the number 75 Honda for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Mick, of course, with 43 starts in Formula One, currently competes in the World Endurance Challenge. And it was cool to see a Schumacher back on track at IMS after his legendary father won 5 times on the old road course configuration. Mick, again, thanks for doing this today after a very long day, hopefully a very productive day today, and after a debrief as well. Just your initial thoughts on your day here with the race team.
Yeah, it's been obviously good. Good to get to know the car, get to know the team. I think we really managed to get through all the run plan and all the test items we wanted to do. So obviously very happy about that. And yeah, I think we're stoked about what the lap times were doing, and I think it wasn't a main target, but still it went pretty well. So yeah, happy about today.
Nice. And obviously you had a very full weekend with the team, the seat fitting, had some time on the Honda simulator as well. Did you get everything out of the test that I guess you would have liked, or at least get everything out of the weekend that you would have liked?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a great preparation. I think it was really important for me to kind of get to see how a race weekend would run out, and I think it was kind of close to that. So it was good to have the time with the team, also back at the factory before coming out to the test. The simulator itself was a great opportunity for me to get a taste of the car before actually driving it, so it wouldn't be a complete surprise, even though it wouldn't have been, as it was actually pretty close to what I'm used to and what I've driven before. So no, very productive and very happy about the preparation we've done.
Good to hear. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Again, if you have a question, use the virtual raised hand function, and we'll lead it off with Archie O'Reilly from Dive Bomb Motorsports. Archie, go ahead with Mick Schumacher.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, Mick. Especially off the back of this test, are you now keen to kind of actively explore IndyCar as a full-time option for next year? I guess, what is on your radar right now, and what is the process that you are about to kind of undergo in terms of what you might be racing in 2026?
Yeah, I think in terms of what I'm doing in 26, it's very open. Obviously, the options are all there. I think IndyCar is one of them. So I really just wanted to know what it was, so that I can make my mind up. I have different options, and this being one of them. So I think there's good potential, and it's about me now trying to figure out what I want to do, and if this is one thing that I would consider for long term.
And why is it something you're considering? I know, especially now after the few days you've had with RLL, actually getting to drive the car. What do you see as the appeal of IndyCar as someone who's obviously grown up on the F1 ladder?
It being similar to a single seater, or it being a single seater. I think that's really what is kind of attracting me to it. I love having open wheels. I think one of the things my dad always said was the Schumachers are usually faster if they can see their wheels. So I kind of do like that quote, and yeah, I think it's just the appeal of racing 17 times a year.
And obviously, I mean, the backdrop's pretty cool behind you. This is somewhere where your dad had a lot of success. So how nice and how much did it mean to you to actually get to drive this track today and to be at IMS? How cool was that for you?
It was great. I mean, I was here earlier this year in May, I believe it was, just before the Indy 500, and the place was quite crowded compared to now. But it's still nice to be here, to get to know the racetrack. Obviously, one of those racetracks which they race on, so we had good data to compare, and to analyze what I was doing, and to see how it compares to the full-time drivers.
And just finally, obviously, as an F2 champion, you moved into F1, and obviously the goal there is to become F1 champion. But when that doesn't work out, did you kind of reevaluate what might make a successful career for you? And I guess at this moment in time, if you were to say look ahead 20 years, what would you be happy with from your career?
I think the most important part would be to look back at it and say, okay, I enjoyed everything I did. And I think that's really why we're doing it, because we love the sport, we love racing, and that's what it should be. So, yeah, as long as I'm enjoying my time and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I will be doing it well, and therefore, yeah, again, that's above everything for me. The main point that I'm looking at is that I enjoy what I'm doing.
Thanks a lot, Mick. Great to speak to you. Cheers, Dave.
Thanks, Archie. Vincent Shardak, VL Media. Vincent, go ahead with me.
Thanks, Dave. Bonsoir, Mick. Est-ce que tu acceptes les questions en français ou pas du tout?
We'll be doing them in English, just so it's fair for everybody.
Okay, okay. Excuse me. Was it emotional for you to run in the track when your dad, the legendary Michael Schumacher, won 5 times here in Indianapolis? How does it feel to run here?
I mean, I think, obviously I was very focused on doing all the program, and I believe the track has changed a little bit since then. But it's been amazing to see the track. It's been amazing to see the facility. And yeah, I think overall just very happy to be here.
And how was your day? I mean, how did you feel being back in a single seat car?
I loved seeing my wheels, for sure. It's obviously a bit different to all the single seaters that I've driven so far, as we have the aero screen. So it was getting kind of hot at times, and airflow is a bit difficult. But those are all things that you're kind of getting used to and understanding about what those little change and differences are. I think there's is great potential in safety in that aero screen, so I think that's why everybody is very happy about it. Nonetheless, the maybe disadvantages it brings, like airflow. But yeah, I think it's been fun, and it's been good to see the car, and it's been fun to drive it.
And what was the biggest your biggest impression inside the IndyCar? Like, you've been in Formula One since a few years, and what's the biggest difference for you?
I mean, it feels very much like an F2 car, maybe a little bit heavier in terms of steering. So I obviously was pretty successful with the F2 campaign, and it's quite different to F1. Like F1 is obviously another step ahead, and has just a lot more downforce, a lot more power, hybrid system and all that stuff. So it drives itself a little different. This one is probably more. You have to be a bit more aggressive. You can be more aggressive. The tires do take quite a bit of that, let's say, rigid driving. So, yeah, there's a lot of fun in that. There's a lot of fun in F1. So I think every kind of aspect has their benefits and negatives. So, no, it's been good so far. It's been good to see the difference, and I think both have their flair.
Thank you, Mick.
Thanks, Vincent. Mick, you talked about how heavy the steering was. How physically demanding was it in the car? Maybe, or did you have a long enough stint to really get a good feel for that?
I think I got a good idea of how it would be. We didn't do a very long stint. We were focusing on other aspects of driving. But I think a lot of the guys that I've spoken to scared me more than what it actually was. So I think it's not as heavy as I would have imagined and anticipated.
Do you care to tell us who told you that? Who scared you the most?
I mean, I think most drivers that I spoke to, they said, like, yeah, you better get into the gym if you wanna drive that. I didn't think it was that heavy. I actually thought it was more fun actually with the steering as it was, just because you kind of feel like really like you feel very connected to the car, and it gave you a very positive feeling and feedback.
Sounds good. Let's go, Heiko from Motorsport Network in Germany. Heiko, go ahead with Mick.
Yeah, great to see you, Mick, in an IndyCar. These cars are said to be more tail-happy than what you have driven so far. So how did you experience it, and how fun is it to drive with a loose car?
Yeah, they are, but they're also not. Like, I mean, a wet car is actually pretty loose on the rear, especially in entry. So it's fairly similar to that. Obviously a bit lighter, more downforce compared to the wet car. The only I think real difference comes into play here compared to F2, because the F2 with the Pirelli tire, you kind of were trying to save that rear as much as possible, which you wouldn't quite do in here. You kind of pretty much get after it to keep the tires in a good window for most part of the stint.
Yeah, how much do you think would you have to adjust to oval racing when it comes?
I don't know. I haven't done an oval test. I haven't driven an oval, so it's hard to say. I believe it's. I mean, so far from what people have told me, if you have a good feeling for a stable car, and if you have a good feeling for, when you kind of get close to the limit, you're gonna do well. That's again only people telling me, so I can't really answer that question quite yet. But obviously that could be something interesting to try down the road, maybe to do an oval test at some point.
Okay, thank you. See you at Bahrain.
Thank you very much. Let's go Federico Fraturos from Motorsport.
Yes,
you hear us, Burrito. Go ahead,
yes.
Federico.
Thank you, Dave. Hello, Mick. How are you, everybody? Just to question, would you consider racing in IndyCar while keeping also some of your commitments in Europe, or it had to be like one thing or the other? I think perhaps a part of the calendar in IndyCar while keep racing in WEC, for example. How do you see it?
To be honest, I think that's thinking quite far down the road yet. Obviously, if I were to commit to any championship, I would do it 100%. I think dual programs are not quite on my radar, as I feel like it would take quite a lot of energy and would be pretty distracting to do both. So if I were to commit, I would commit to 100% to either or.
And is there any timeline for you to make a decision on whether to race in Indy or not? Would you need or like to test on an oval before making that decision?
I mean, I think obviously at some point I want to be sure about my future, and so I think it won't be too long till I make a decision. Whether or not that's going to happen before or after I do an oval test, I do not know.
Thank you, Mick. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you. Let's go Philippe Kraus, all about Indy racing. Philip, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Mick. We already talked about the ovals. Mick, many drivers in Formula One have voiced some safety concerns about oval racing, which has kept them from seriously considering a move to IndyCar. How do you personally view that risk, and is that something you think about when maybe considering a move to IndyCar in the future?
I mean, I think safety is obviously something that is at a high priority for everybody. I think IndyCar has made a lot of adjustments and changes to make it safer, and I'm sure they're going to improve even further. I think at some point you can only make it as safe though with the speeds that you're going, but again, I think all the precautions have been taken. So I mean, like, I'm not concerned. I haven't driven an oval, so I can't say it more than that. But like for now, I haven't heard anything that would scare me off it.
Okay. How different are the Firestone tires compared to like Pirelli and F1 or the Michelin you're currently using?
I think they're all a bit different. All have their charm. I think the Firestone driving it today reminded me a lot of my F3 years, the 2 years that I did with the Hankook tire, where the tire was pretty much still evolving throughout the run, and you could pretty much use it even after 15 laps and still do a decent lap time. So so far so good.
And one last question. If you could only choose one, what would you pick? Winning the Indy 500 or the IndyCar Championship?
I think I haven't really gotten that far into it. I obviously hear a lot of people say they would love to win the Indy 500 more than anything else. On the other hand, I have a bit of a different mentality. I think for me, a championship is always going to be the holy grail. So I think if you win the championship, you can always win the Indy 500 too. but if you win the Indy 500 and nothing else, then you won't win the championship, right? So probably pick the championship and then say I'll win the Indy 500 in the same year.
Okay, thank you, Mick.
Or Mick, the other answer is both. You could go with both on
Exactly.
Carolina Figueroa, Pit Lane Motor. Go ahead, Carolina.
Hi, Mick. Hi, everyone. So I have two questions. My first question is, what are the chances of you racing in the category next year, Mick?
I still gotta let everything sink in a bit, figure it out, and yeah, I guess make a decision down the line. It's hard to say how high the percentage is. Today has been very fun, but yeah, I guess I gotta analyze it a bit more and see what that would look like.
Okay, so the next question is, could you describe the sensation you get while driving an IndyCar, please?
Sensations are very similar to driving an F2 car with F3 tires, like F3 European tires, European Championship tires. It's obviously you're pushing pretty hard most of the laps, and the aero screen kind of disappears at some point, so you kind of get used to driving without it, like as if it wasn't there. The only big change is that you don't get much air to your face, so it's like sometimes a bit different to what I'm used to when sitting in an open wheeler. Sorry.
Okay, so another question, the final is, have you received any recommendation for any drivers this category?
I've spoken to a couple of them. I know a lot of them. I raced with a fair few of them since I was in go-karts. So, I think it's from everything that I've heard so far, everybody enjoys the championship, and they say it's very fun.
Okay, dankeschön.
Thank you, Megan Smith, the girls who. Megan, coming to you next. Go ahead.
Silly me, sorry. Hi,
There
Mick. How was the preparation for the IndyCar test, and did it differ at all to the other series you've been in?
It was pretty extensive. We were done a couple of days in the workshop, but then also, we did half a day in the sim. So I think it compares pretty similarly to what I've done so far in racing. It wasn't in any way like groundbreaking, but it's been definitely good to spend so much time with the team beforehand and be able to talk through some of the points that we're keen on trying, some of the points that we're feeling like would be important for the team, but for me as well to test. And I think that enabled us to have a very good, I'd say, approach to today and a very structured approach, which is something that you definitely want.
What was it like working with RLL? How well did they support you, and were they good to work with?
Yeah, they were great. I think it really feels like a family business and family-owned team, as you can feel that everybody enjoys what they're doing and they're there because they're passionate about motorsports. So, that's for sure something that I felt right from the get-go, from walking into the workshop, that everybody's very excited about racing and very keen to have have people trying their cars and seeing what feedback they have to obviously move forwards and improve.
What was your favourite part of the test, and what was the most challenging part?
I think my favorite part was actually, I guess favorite and most challenging part was to kind of get to know all the new words they used for racing. So like new tires isn't new tires, it's stickers here. And I was like, first time they said it, I was like, what is stickers? So communication is a bit different. Obviously we're doing things in feet, yards. PSI is not so different because that's what we did in F1. But yeah, pounds is something completely new to me. So yeah, a lot of the things were a bit different. But it's good to obviously work with another metric as well and get to know it.
And a lot of people from Europe are now going over to Indy NXT and IndyCar, and a few of the people on the grid currently you raced with in F2. Did that influence your decision to participate in this test at all, or was it always something you wanted to do?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I definitely always wanted to try it. I've been following it here and there since a couple of years, and saw a couple of the guys who are racing here, and they again all said that it was very fun, and therefore, yeah, it did definitely somewhat spike my interest, but it wasn't, let's say, a key element that people that I've used to race with that over here, that's the reason why I came.
And finally, if you do come to IndyCar and join the grid next year, what can you take from your time in endurance and in F1 to help you in IndyCar?
I think in any championship, it's helpful to have the background knowledge of all these different categories and different cars, because they will all teach you something new and something different, right? So personally, I take a lot of my knowledge and kind of put it all together so that it fits the best wherever I go, and whether that's IndyCar or another place, it'll always help me to move on and move forwards and essentially be a better driver, but also a better driver for the team.
Amazing. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Megan. Mick, I don't know if you heard the phrase box in your ear today, but that's a recent addition to IndyCar, so which I know you're familiar with overseas. So it's evolving.
The box. Well, what did you say before? Did you say pit?
Pit.
Yeah. Okay.
Pit next time. Yeah. Exactly. Neil Wooding, Sky IndyCar. Neil, go ahead with Mick Schumacher.
Hi, Mick. I was going to ask you if you'd spoke to some of your F2 contemporaries, particularly Christian and Callum, particularly Christian because he's driven for Rahal. But I think we've kind of covered that. So I want to talk about the fact you did the Indy road course. It's one that's been very popular with European drivers when they've come over. So I wonder if that was a conscious decision to do the road course, and would you look to do somewhere else like Mid-Ohio or Barber or some of the other great tracks around America?
It wasn't a conscious decision, actually. It just happened to fall well into the plan, and so I didn't actually know it was a very good track for Europeans. But I did enjoy the track. It was good. Obviously, very old school. I like it. You get punished if you make a little mistake, but not in a bad way. But you just go off into the grass, for example. And yeah, I mean, to come back to your first question that you didn't ask, I did talk to Callum a lot actually about it. I saw him a couple of times in the WEC field when he was racing with Joda, and we actually spoke a bit about IndyCar. So yeah, I did talk to some of the guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Neil. Ben Johnson from the Paddock Eye. Go ahead, Ben.
Cheers, Dave. Hey, Mick. Congratulations on today. Can you just talk to me a little bit about the differences between driving the IndyCar to driving a Formula One car?
Yeah, obviously I think it's all a bit more, I would say, maybe that sounds bad, but a bit more old school. In an IndyCar, it's more rough. And F1 is probably more fine-tuned. Aero pieces are very important and very crucial, and if one little piece doesn't sit right, it can affect the whole car, right? So there's a bit of a different approach to it. It being IndyCar being a spec series might have a lot to do with that, because they want, I guess, keep the cost down. Whilst in F1, that's something that if you have more money available up to the cost cap, you will use it. So the procedures are a bit different. And sometimes I would say clinical in F1, and very precise, whilst here it's maybe a bit more, as the term as I used before, rough and a bit more contact to the road. The fact that they don't really have a skid was very interesting to me, that it's just the tub that is the limit. So as long as you don't break the tub, you're good to go down. So there are a couple differences that are very interesting, and I think both again have the ability to. I think you can use stuff from IndyCar, bring it over to Formula One, but vice versa, I think there's a lot you can bring from Formula One over to IndyCar to maybe improve here.
Excellent. Thanks, Mick. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Ben. We have another 5, maybe 10 minutes left in this window. Jeffrey Runka from Motorsports Today. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Thanks, Dave. First question is, how did this whole opportunity come together for you, Mick? And what enticed you to say, I want to go test out the IndyCar at Indianapolis?
I think just the fact that I wanted to try the car was pretty simple as that, where it was very interesting to see what that would be about and how it would feel to drive an IndyCar, and actually if it is as heavy as everybody says it is, which it wasn't, so it's a good thing, right? And no, I think overall the decision was very easy for me to say that I'll try it, and it just happened to be here in Indianapolis.
And second question, what was your initial reactions, getting in an open wheel car around such a historic racetrack? What was going through your mind kind of when you got off the pit lane and started going around the road course?
Honestly, not much. I was focused on driving and doing my plan. I think I'm here to essentially also kind of do a job, and hence why I wasn't really, driving through nostalgia, but driving through the here and now and trying to focus on what I had to do.
And then final question, about a possible future driving full-time in IndyCar. Is there a specific aspect of the NTT INDYCAR series that, attracts you the most to it?
Yeah, I think probably the one word that stuck the most with me is that somebody told me who works here in IndyCar, that the most important aspect of that team, or let's say of making a decision, is the driver at the end of the day. So the fact that they rely so heavily on the driver is something that really spiked my interest and made it interesting for me to come out and try.
Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Dave.
You got it. Jan Vanderberg from Racing News 365. Go ahead, Jan.
Yes, thank you very much. Mick, good evening. Earlier you talked about you having several options for 2026. Can you elaborate on that one in terms of racing series? Is it now a matter of you choosing between either WEC or IndyCar, or is there a surprise third option perhaps?
Sorry, I didn't understand the first part. What was the first part of the question?
You said that you had several options for next year.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on that one in terms of racing series a little bit? Is it you choosing between WEC or IndyCar, or might there be a surprise third racing series, IMSA, for example?
I won't go into detail because I don't think it's really necessary. But yeah, I do have the options, and again, IndyCar is one of them, as is some other ones out there. So it's a matter of me trying to just figure out what I want to do, and again, I probably won't take too long to make that decision, and then yeah, I'll make sure to let everybody know.
Okay, thank you very much, Mick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. I think we've got time for everyone that has their hand already up. Let's begin with Luisa Sato. F1 with Sato. Go ahead, Luisa, with Mick Schumacher.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, Mick. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good too, thank you. So, if you do decide to move to IndyCar, what would matter most to you, like immediate results or a long-term project to adapt and grow?
I think that's very far into the future to think. I guess something to think about at another point. I'm happy that I managed to do the first test and we got everything out of it that we were hoping. And yeah, what in terms of results and stuff, I think that's something to think about for another day.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Luisa. Mariana Galindo from Chaos in the Paddock. Mariana, go ahead.
Thank you, Dave. Hey, Mick. My question for you is, why do you think IndyCar is becoming more popular between drivers, like European drivers are getting more attractive to moving into IndyCar?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think it's a fun series. I think therefore a lot of people are, keen to try it out. I was certainly, and curious about what the car felt like. Yeah, I think there's a certain appeal as well in racing in America. It's obviously, I feel like they're great fans. They're very fun to be around, and I think they're, great people to put a show out on a racetrack for.
Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, Mariana, time for a couple more. Chiara Martin from Pit Debrief. Chiara, go ahead.
You've spent most of your career within the FIA ecosystem, the Feeder Series, F1, and now in WEC. So if a full-time move to IndyCar became realistic, do you think that would affect, your possible your ambitions to return to Formula One because it's so far away?
I see. I do not believe that it would be in the way of coming back. No. I think IndyCar has, great talent and great people racing in it. And yeah, I don't think it would stop somebody from moving back to Formula One.
Vielen Dank.
Thanks, Chiara. All right, last but not least, he's been patiently waiting. Edmund Jenks from Motorsports Journal. Go ahead, Edmund, with Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, hi, Mick. Again, my interest is you're a professional driver. You don't go and, go out and just do a track day because, it's fun. You're seriously considering IndyCar. Is there anything about the variants of the types of racing that we have, whether it's, I know you haven't done ovals, but we have short ovals, large ovals, dedicated road courses as well as street courses. Are there any races out there that interest you? Any tracks that interest you, given that you're looking into this NTT INDYCAR series approach?
There are great tracks out there. I think, one of the big points is it is one of those places where you will find more old school racetracks than new ones, and I think everybody kind of understands what I mean with that. And I think that aspect is pretty fun. Also street circuits are usually very challenging and they demand a lot from a racing driver. So I think there's a good mix from racetracks out there at the IndyCar series. I don't want to talk too much about ovals. That's why I didn't kind of go there. But as I said earlier in this meeting, I am considering at some point maybe doing an oval just to see what it's about. Whether that's going to be a short, mid, or long oval, I don't know. I didn't know there were those three different lengths to it. But yeah. I think, again, the series is a great series. It's a spec series, but still there's some development you can do from team to team. And so, yeah, racing seems fun, and we'll see what opportunities it might have for me.
Well, finally, outside of the Indy 500, are there any specific races that you may have watched on television and you go, boy, I could see myself in a car on that track? Are there any tracks that call to you?
I don't know how to really answer that because I did watch a couple of the tracks, but it's hard to really kind of feel that way if you haven't driven it, right? So I definitely am interested in seeing some other tracks out there. Today was good to be here to see this track. It was definitely a fun one, and racing, I'm sure, is a great pleasure here. but yeah, there's no real knowledge of mine that would say, okay, that one track is one that I would like to race on for now.
Well, I guess welcome to the world of IndyCar. At least you got a shot at taking a look at it. You've also have some great people to talk with there at RLL, and hope to see you out there soon.
I appreciate it, and cool picture, by the way.
Thank you.
Edmund, thanks a lot. More importantly, Mick, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and leave it there for now. Again, Mick, thank you. Great to see you on a track, regardless of whatever happens here in the future. It was wonderful to see you, though, in NTT IndyCar Series machinery. And as mentioned at the top, great to see Schumacher back on the IMS road course. So thank you very much for your time and your day today.
Thank you.